Good morning. Thank you for joining me today for this nice kind of warming up your body, getting ready for the day, encouraging flow. So let's start off in a nice easy seat, right leg in front of the left. Take a moment here to ground your breath and ground your sit bones. Drop in. Start to feel your spine come into alignment. With your next exhale, focus on relaxing the muscles of your forehead. And with your next exhale, the muscles in between your eyebrows. Your temples, your jaw, your tongue, the muscles of your throat. For our next inhale, let's raise our shoulders up towards our ears, roll them back, and feel our shoulder blades drop back and down alongside our spine. Allow your ribs to expand, take up space. Exhale, pull your navel to your spine. Inhale, let that belly inflate like a hot air balloon. And pull that into your spine. Now we're going to put our left hand on the mat. Reach out to the side. Maybe you're coming down onto your forearm. If you'd like, you can extend your right arm above you like you're peeking out under a window. It's a nice stretch through our side body to wake up. And then we're going to roll our arms to the other side and repeat. You definitely don't have to come all the way to your forearms. You can come up onto your fingertips. Wherever's going to be comfortable for you. As well, you can use a block here if you'd like to have a bit more support or a bit more elevation. And with our next exhale, we'll drop our arms to the center and come into a nice seated forward fold. Again, you can come all the way down. You can come onto your fingertips. You can just even come right here. This is my first stretch and real movement of the day, so I'm definitely warming up slowly. Feel that stretch in your outside right hip and thigh. With our next inhale, we'll walk our hands up, place them behind us, and just windshield wiper our legs. Getting some blood flowing again. And then we'll come into an easy seat with our left foot in front this time. We're going to start with some nice easy spinal twists. Inhale, raise your arms above. Exhale, left hand to right knee. Right hand behind you, maybe just to the side. Again, wherever's feeling comfortable and safe for your body today. And with our next inhale, we'll raise our arms up to the middle again. exhale, repeat on the other side. Right hand to left knee, left hand behind you. Just looking over that shoulder. Take a moment to maybe just check in with your shoulders. See that they're still down and back. And with our next inhale, we'll come back to center. We'll repeat, but a bit quicker. Once more each side. Inhale, and then we're going to come into our seated forward fold with this left leg in front. And feeling that same nice stretch on the outside of that hip and thigh. And when I'm doing this, I like to kind of tense my fingers and imagine that one force is pulling my hips back while I'm grounding in through my fingertips. And feel like a little bit of traction on your spine. It feels so good to just let your head hang here. This can also be done while you're up on your hands, forearms, or even up on blocks. Just focus on that alignment. And we can come up, windshield wiper, those legs again. Oh, that feels good. And now we're just going to come into a little baby camel. Right here. Imagine you're tucking your hands into your back pocket of your jeans. You can have your feet flat on the floor, the tops of your feet flat, or I like to tuck my toes. Inhale, and then I imagine your heart reaching up to the ceiling. One more big breath here. Elbows coming towards each other. And engage your abdominals to come back up. And now let's come into a nice low lunge today. Right leg in front, left knee back. And let's let our hips square. So imagine that right hip pulling back, left hip pulling forward a bit till they're both like headlights facing the top of our mat, the short side. And you can just place your hands up. I like to place them on my thighs. You can have your foot flat, top of the foot flat on the mat. You can tuck your toes. Or I really have been enjoying pointing that back toe and getting that nice quad stretch and stretch through the hip flexors. Also is a nice way to get a bit deeper in this pose. There's certainly many variations that you don't need to go that deep if you're not feeling it today. As well, if you need a bit of extra padding on your back knee, feel free to either double up your yoga mat or grab a blanket there. And release. Bend those back feet, and we're going to come into a nice half splits here. Really flex that right foot. Get that nice calf stretch. And then we'll come into all fours for a tabletop. We're just going to do a couple rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, chest and heart shine through. Exhale, tailbone points down to the floor, navel into your spine. One more round. And then we'll come into a low lunge with our left leg in front here. And again, taking a moment to square the hips, making sure your knee isn't going out past your toes. I'm tighter on this right side today. And we all have one side that may be more or less tight, depending on day to day, what we've been up to. Again, you can keep your hips square to the short side. You can keep your top of your foot flat on the mat, tuck your toes, or you can point up. You can have your hands up above us, on your knees, on your hips, or on your thigh or on your hips. Whatever's feeling best for you today. I'm really liking this quad and hip flexor stretch. You can also come into a bind and take that if that's more comfortable for you. But I've been enjoying that little bit of balance. I'm finding that spot of balance in this position. And release. Let's do 4 rounds of cat and cow here again. Maybe a bit faster now. Focusing and really clearing that breath, the emphasis on the exhale. And then as we come in to tabletop, we can walk our hands out in front and come into a nice heart melting or a puppy pose. You can have your chin on the floor, your forehead on the floor. Again, you can be up on blocks if you'd like, but let's imagine that heart really melting down and forward and trying to keep our hips over our knees. You can have your palms flat on the floor if that's where you are. Or sometimes I like to put my pinkies on the floor, thumbs facing up to the sky for a bit more of a deeper stretch in the back of that arm. Feel the back of your shoulder blades loosening up a bit here. If you'd like, you can also have your hands in prayer and bring it behind you. One more breath here. Walk our hands back in. And what I like to do to warm up the wrists before we come into any downward dogs is I like to play around with that angle that my fingers are pointing at. I start off facing them to the side, to the long edges of my mat, and just shift your weight, and then gradually walk them. Rotate until they're pointing right back at you. And then I like to sit back and get a nice stretch through my wrists and forearms. And you can go as deep into this as you'd like. You certainly can. We all usually need it, how much we're on our phones and typing. It's an area that gets overlooked. Now as we sit up, I'm going to just put my hair back for a moment. Feel free to come into a wide-legged child's pose here. As you're in this wide-legged child's pose, shift your hips, roll your hips. Start stretching those inner thigh muscles as well. And now into tabletop. Let's tuck our toes, send our tailbone up to the sky, and come to our first downward dog of the day. And pedal out your feet. And now we're going to hover our knees. One round of breath here. And next exhale, tailbone up to the sky. Again, hover our knees. Elbows are facing forward. Shoulder blades are down and back. now we're going to come to a three-legged dog. Raise that right leg up and then bend it. Allow that hip to open up, your heel to come towards your glutes. Bring your gaze up to your hands, and we're going to step that right foot to the outside. And we're going to come into a nice lizard pose. You can stay up here. You can be up on blocks. You can come down to your forearms. Take a moment to check in. Your back foot should be pointing directly behind you. You can come as you get deeper and deeper. You can let that right foot open and just keep that edge of your pinky toe on the mat, that side of your foot, the outside edge. And as we walk our hands up, raise our torso up, heel toe your foot to the center, and again, let's come into a nice half split. Next exhale, we'll be coming into just a nice tabletop. Quick round cat and cow. And tuck your toes, tailbone up to the sky. Back in downward dog. Come down to hover our knees for one round of breath. Pedal out the feet. Don't worry about making your heels touch the mat. Focus on that alignment and feeling strong, powerful. Hover the knees. And last, hovering of the knees here. Back to downward dog. Let's step that, raise that left foot, left leg strong, high, and let that knee bend. Let that left hip open up. Heel can come towards your glutes. And bring your gaze towards your hands. Step that left foot to the outside of your hands. Drop your knee. Let's come into a nice lizard pose here. Again, back foot should be pointing directly behind you, not sickling in or turned out. I want to have one continuous line of energy from the crown of our head to the tip of our toes. And again, you can stay right up here. You can have blocks. You can come onto your forearms. Whatever your body is needing today, you can let that left foot roll up. Just checking to make sure you're keeping some space between your shoulder and your ears as well. And then we can pull ourselves up, heel toe that foot to the inside of our hands, tuck the back foot. We're going to come into a downward dog again. Not for long here. And then you can bring your feet in between your hands. You can step, hop, jump, float, whatever you'd like. I like to just slowly walk up. If it's available to you, just plant your palms on the mat. If not, you can have your palms wherever they're coming to rest naturally. Take a moment here to let your head hang heavy. Yes, no. And now we're going to ground down through our feet and the knees and slowly straighten up to come into a beautiful, strong mountain pose. Shoulders back and down, palms shining forward. Neck and jaw relaxed. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swoop them around. Bring to your heart center. Push the palms against each other, creating some energy, building some resistance, feeling that life force. Feel how strong you can be. Take a moment to say thank you to yourself for showing up and sharing this practice with me. I say thank you for coming, sharing this practice with me. Keep that feeling of strength and pride with you through the day. Know that your time is valuable, and I'm here whenever you need a bit of a break from that busy day. Thank you so much for joining me.